Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor. Now, this is Season 1. Stay with me. This is Episode 6. Not fake is what it's called. And this is where we see Sean faced with this terrible trauma that's coming into the ER. We see a nurse try to shuttle him to the next patient. He won't allow it. He doesn't want to be touched by her. He recoils at the touch. And then we see this series of horrors unfolding before him. And instead of allowing the din and the chaos and the confusion to thwart his efforts, he takes the time and space he needs to allow himself the opportunity to access his vision so he can save his patient. And in the best moment, maybe in the whole entire world, when Freddie Highmore, as Sean Murphy says, I made a Raboa. I want to just hug him and squeeze him. And he's the best. He's so great. Anyway, those are my episode insights. I was really proud of those incredible moments. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor, Season 1, Episode 7, 22 Steps is the name of this episode. And right in the beginning, it's a very powerful moment when the paramedics think that the patient is psychotic. And it's magnificent, of course, that Sean is there to represent and to understand that he just doesn't like being touched because he has autism. I'm going to cry. I wish I wasn't. Anyway, but there's so many problems across the nation where individuals with a diagnosis of autism are in danger because there are so many uneducated police officers who don't know what to look for, who don't know how to identify and ascertain that there might need to be a different approach in handling a situation. And one size does not fit all. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor, Season 1, Episode 8, the Apple episode. We hear people ask questions of Sean all the time, right? And typically, especially if it relates to the world of medicine in which Sean is most regulated, he's not thrown by a question. But what we know is that when typically we ask questions or give commands, the recipient of that interaction sort of has an anxiety response. They have a spike in heart rate and blood pressure. And we can see that those individuals will either become explosive or shut down. And in the instance during surgery, when Kalu asks Sean, why does her boyfriend think it's your fault? Sean kind of shuts down and does not answer that question directly, but reverts back to and returns to his most regulated state, which is in his world of medicine, and answers by saying, it punctured her diaphragm here. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor, Season 1, Episode 9, Intangibles. You know, as a parent, it's hard. It's hard as we get older, and I am not a young parent. I didn't have kids right out of college or anything. And as we get older, we just want our kids to not just survive. We want them to thrive, you know, in anticipation of when we're not around. And when Glassman says, I can't always be there, I can't always help you the way you need to be helped. And Sean says, I don't want a stranger helping me. This is such a common conflict and such a common challenge. And I'm so glad that it was illustrated in this episode and in this way. And sometimes we are at a standstill and there isn't always an easy answer. There's no bow on this present. It just is what it is. Melissa Reiner here with Episode Insights from The Good Doctor. This is Season 1, Episode 10, Sacrifice. And I am not tooting my own horn here, toot toot, but in a meeting with the writers for this episode, when they were talking about this therapist for Sean, they decided to name her after me. So her name is Melissa, which is kind of exciting for me. And what's kind of also crazy is they allowed me the opportunity to audition for the role. I didn't get it. It turns out we look nothing alike. But in the audition, the person who was auditioning me really wanted me to stay seated when Sean enters into the office where Glassman is. And I wouldn't. I said I would never do that. I do this for a living. This is what I do. And I would absolutely stand up and introduce myself and wouldn't stay seated like he's coming to a board meeting or something. Anyway, I felt really adamant about it, as I've said. And it turns out that that's what they chose to do in the actual episode. I'm honored.